This is Detroit Bob. We're here in Quebec, and I got a line on some records. But look at this, man. These people are crazy about vinyl up here. They got 45s, they got 33s, and they're just hanging them on the walls. So this Saturday, I got a lead, and we're gonna hit some vinyl shops. And I got my cinematographer with me, Kev. He's great, so you're gonna love it. Tune in. All right, name of the show is Rockmine. We're up here in Quebec City, Canada. And this is the place that I've been looking for. Musique Chez Shoney. Oh no, it's not open yet. Okay, what's it say on the sign there? Let's zoom in. Open at 11. Okay, we're coming back. You can see they got some vinyl in the window. I'm liking the way it looks. Dusty old record store. Cool old sign. I've had luck here before, so I expect to get it again. Some cool Canadian 45s. All right, the name of the show is Rockmine. I'm here in Quebec City, and I forgot about this place. It's an old bookstore, but I remember he has 45s. So I'm drinking my Coke Zero and enjoying the day, and we're gonna go in there and check out and see if they have some good vinyl. Rockmine, subscribe, and let's go find some records.
All right, the beauty of this place, it's old, it's dusty, it's dingy, but there's vinyl everywhere. Probably just as much as there is books. And I found the little spot down at the end of the row, at the end of these 33s, where he's got the vinyl buried, and I'm digging. The beauty of this is Kev is just freestyling. Kev's really a great writer, but ultimately he's a storyteller. And I've seen him tell the stories with photographs on many of his montages of his trips all over the world. So it's sort of nice just to have my hands free and Kev's allowed to be a fly on the wall. And like I said, he can write, he can tell a story. While I was in high school taking and filming my first video, he was across the street in Gruey's English class learning how to write. Here we go.
Foreigner. Waiting for a Girl Like You. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
A little beat up.
But still a cool one though.
Yeah. I think that's the one with Thomas Dolby
Oh,
on
wow.
the synthesizer.
All right, it wasn't long before Kev and I just fell back into our 12, 13-year-old Harmony House record store personas, where I'm commenting on something, Kev's commenting back. It wouldn't be long before we were singing these tunes that we were digging up one by one on these beautiful little black gold 45s. So as I was going through these records, Kev and I were just having a dialogue, unplanned, unscripted. But that's always the best way to do it. But this was sort of a mix mash of everything. Bookstores tend to just get a bunch of records dropped off by somebody that found them in a closet. Here I'm pointing out the difference between 45s in England and the U.S., the old small hole, large hole controversy. And I'm just going into and riffing about 45s in general. Kev's eating it up. I'm looking for gems. But I like these Canadian labels because you don't see them in the U.S. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go back to Detroit and plan another trip in Windsor, right across the river, the closest place to the American continent where you can dip your foot in Canada. And by the way, it's the only place in the U.S. where you have to go south to go to Canada. Anyways, digging through the records, we're doing great. The wives are off shopping somewhere, and I'm not really sure where. And as far as I'm concerned, they can take hours because Kevin and I could definitely eat that time up in no matter. You know, it's just a matter of, do we make the meeting time? Do we make time for dinner and the cocktail hour or not? So those are the big worries of the day. And so far, we're just totally losing track of time, which is the beauty of these things. Most of these are sleeved, which is another good sign, because sleeved 45s tend to be in better condition. Even if it's not in the original sleeve, someone took the time to throw it in the sleeve, and it could be a record that was never, ever taken out of that sleeve. So some of the stuff that Kev's commenting on, I'm like, I already have it. I mean, it's common. And at this point in my collection career, I'm looking for the more obscure, but definitely leaning towards those Canadian labels and definitely looking for the oddball $100, $200, or $300 record. A great store. Some of the French signs and so forth give it away that you're in Quebec. But for the most part, it just looks like any other record store you'd see in the U.S. And here we are.
If I get the gem of the week from your store, then that's really good because you'll get more airtime. But I've got almost 500 subscribers and almost 200,000 views, which is good. They tell me. And you never know, Kev. You could find some old soul or some old Motown.
Right.
That would be Bobby Vinton. Pass on him. Albert Hammond on that Columbia.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. And the key is, man, you got to be fast because you don't have all day.
Right. Especially with our wives.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. C'est bon. Merci beaucoup. Tom Jones, I have it.
It's not unusual
Yeah.
to be loved.
Usually, What's Up, Pussycat?
Yeah. Wow.
Carpenter's a pass on that.
We
You
have
want like Peter Frampton, but it's "I'm in You," which is probably his lamest song.
I'm being you.
Yeah, everybody knows it. It was
The funny part is my wife was mad he didn't play it when we saw him. I actually like the song. I know
It was a good song. It was just
it's a soft,
Yeah.
moody song, but I liked
Yeah,
it.
that's cool looking.
What is that, Bob? I don't even zoom in on that.
Hard. It's too good not to pick up. Like here, Bob Dylan. It's a Bob Dylan on that Columbia label. It's Canadian.
Oh, nice.
It's not one of his big hits, but that is actually going to be more rare.
Okay,
So
good.
I'm definitely getting that.
Okay.
Chicago, I'll pass on that. If I get a Dylan out of the stack, I'll be doing real good.
Yeah.
Candyman, Sammy Davis, I'm taking these
You
two.
can take the sunrise.
Great song.
It is a great song.
Everybody remembers it from Willy Wonka.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is French. I mean, it would be like a sub-genre of someone who's into French singers.
Right.
I just don't got enough time to branch into these sub-genres, if you will.
Right.
Dreamweaver, great song.
Oh, Gary Wright.
Gary Wright. I got about 4 copies of it, I'm quite sure. El Bimbo. That's interesting. Bimbo Jet. Tom Jones. A lot of French in here. Goes without saying. What we got here? Madness.
Oh, our house? Oh, one step beyond. My wife would be, what are you guys saying?
No, that's good.
That's a good song.
What's this? French.
And sure enough, it didn't take long till Kev brought out his incredible vocal skills, and I was singing right back. It was a throwback to sitting around when we were kids listening to his sister's 45s in the blue cylindrical case and just singing one after another. That was life in 1972, 73, sitting on the bedroom floor playing your sister's records where they were out running around doing their thing. But it was a lot of fun. We were digging through one stack after another, and the bookstore sort of paid off. The guy didn't want to be on camera, so I had to sort of edit him out. He was a little camera shy, but he had already told me at this point that I was going to get some kind of a deal. So I don't know what that is at this point. I'm just trying to get through the original stack and get up and cash out. Because remember, I still got that Chez Sony that I got to hit, and that's the main place.
Fly and Freddie's Dead.
Yeah.
That stuff's really popular right now.
Oh, interesting.
James Taylor, how sweet it is. Stole that.
So, Bob, what do you look for the most? Explain what's the most
I'm
valuable
looking
to
for
you.
the label.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm looking for the artist.
Okay.
And then I'm not necessarily looking for the big top 40
Right.
hit.
What
'Cause
makes it rare?
What makes it rare is scarcity. So if they didn't print there very many of them, or if it became popular later on some kind of a fluke, or there was some kind of a misprint or mistake on the label, the value goes way up.
Sort of like a coin that got misfired.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if they made 1,000,000 of them, then everybody's got one. And then you go into condition.
Right.
If it's scratched to hell, I'm probably not going to buy it.
How does condition, like how do you rate condition? Is
Yeah,
it like
you
coins?
get very good plus. Yeah. Ensemble. Okay. So you get very good plus is where I like to live, or even better yet, near mint. Once in a while, you can tell a mint. This record has never been played.
Wow.
It's been sleeved.
Oh,
You go down into good, or
Yeah.
very good, you're getting a scratched up record. But the beauty of 45s, even if they're good or very good, they'll still play and sound great.
right,
And then you get into a fair or a poor, it doesn't play.
right. Or it
So
skips
maybe
or
you use
pops or,
it could look really cool on a wall as decoration, though.
right,
You know, and then you can make a coaster out of
right.
it.
Yeah, you can put them in your college
Yeah,
wall.
you can throw them against the wall or shoot skeet with them, whatever. And the label might be mint, but
Yeah.
the record just doesn't play.
Right.
Hey, one thing I've learned is never pass up an old bookstore. I went in there, sure enough, he had a dedicated 45 section. I talked to the guy, told him he's going to be featured in Rockmine. He started giving me a discount, and he pointed out the secret stash that was over his right shoulder. That's where I found this Dylan record and a couple other little gems. So I got out of there with about 15, 20, 45s, all in very good shape, or maybe even a couple mint minus or near mints in there. So let's go to the record store now and see if we can find some more gems. All right, finally found the record shop. It's called Sonny's Place, but in French they say Chez Sonny. So we're gonna go check that out. I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot more vinyl than the bookstore in there. I've been here before and they had some good stuff last year. So let's see if we can find some gems. I got my cinematographer Kev with me, so this is a rare luxury where I get to just go freestyle at a fast pace. So we got about 20 minutes left before the wives start looking for us. Let's make the best of our time. Back room. And I was wondering, I'm gonna be here till Tuesday. I don't have time today. I'll go through the early Beatles. I like R&B. Okay. All right.
All the old punk 45 sell so well.
Oh yeah.
Sell so
They maybe made 500, 1,000.
exactly like metal. The same thing.
The early metal. Now this is interesting. James Brown on Delta. Mona Lisa. It's a little beat up, but Kev, this is another one of their. They call that a spider, but then this is
Oh, yeah, I know what
weird
you're talking
one.
about. Little spacer. Yeah.
Might be. Okay. This R&B box is going to be. My wife's from Quebec.
Yeah.
Il habite en Syrie.
In 30 years here I saw many. I left for 1 hour.
Yeah. After the Love Is Gone, a lesser known hit by Earth, Wind and
I know
Fire.
that song.
After the love
It's a
is
great
gone.
song.
Yeah.
It's actually a great song.
You forget about it.
Yeah.
The stylistics. You make me feel brand new.
Good luck, Bob.
Yeah. Man, Norm's gonna be happy. I'm picking up a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire. Sing a song. Another
Oh
great
yeah,
one.
sing a song, sing a song.
Yeah.
We saw him
They're
with
from
Chicago.
Chicago.
And we saw him with Chicago
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
That was great.
Rock that. Back to the. That's the punk.
No.
Do you have a Joy Division?
I have two divisions.
Are they rare? How much?
The beauty is we caught Sonny in his shop. Last year when I was here, I had just one of the workers But Sonny sees that we're buying, so he's actually looking for us. So this is pretty good. It's pretty efficient. Kev's getting into it big time. Sonny's getting into it. Before long, we have Sonny singing along some of these oldies with us, and the three of us are like a bunch of old codgers sitting around a bar reminiscing about vinyl history. So we're having a blast. Kev's having a good time. We're totally losing track of time. I'm definitely spending a little bit more money than I originally planned. Hey, look at that McCartney. That's interesting. I never really seen this picture sleeve before. Oh, that's pretty wild. Okay. So McCartney, a lot of the stuff just got cranked out when he had his solo act. And, you know, the plain, generic white sleeve is what a lot of those came out with in the U.S. So this is French.
So my page, I have 200,000 views on my YouTube page. So I'll say your name and give you some advertising. Think the same. Apple, yeah. Yeah, I got it. It's too common. Jimmy Mac by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. Got it. Stevie Wonder. So I'm loading up on a lot of the Tamla Motown, but they're all Canadian releases, which makes them unique. Now this one's Great Britain, Kev. Somehow the Brits didn't get the memo on putting the large hole, so they still have the little. Drives me nuts. Kev, I might have to dink that one. That's where you pop it out and you make a big hole out of a large hole. That's a packaging term, I think. All right. Got them both. Yeah. All right, so start thinking like, yeah, possibility maybe of doing like a volume discount. You guys do that kind of stuff?
Just a volume here.
Yeah. Jack White with Third Man Records. He's reprinted a couple of her albums. And I was just down in Detroit. They're making records again. He has a printing press, and he's making 33s and 45s.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to get Michael Jackson. I live 15 miles from his boyhood home in Indiana.
Once again, Sonny is great. He's just holding up titles at this point, and I'm just giving him a yes or a no. But occasionally he's selling me on one.
Show me the way.
Yeah.
From the live, Frampton Comes Alive, back to a Shine On, which is a lesser known hit off of that Frampton Comes Alive. That's what we call a twofer right there, baby. That's very good plus. I would say almost near mint. That's a good one. So I keep this in a separate stack, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know what it is. But no, are they some kind of badass punk band?
I don't know.
No. If it's at Iggy Pop or the Stooges,
Okay.
that or the MC5,
Oh yeah.
those were the badass guys from Detroit that created punk rock. But no. It all started in Detroit, and so did Motown, and so did all the other great artists that came out of the Motor City, we call it. And my dad worked for Henry Ford in a factory, and so did Berry Gordy, and they both quit. But Berry Gordy started Motown Records, and my dad became a teacher. Comprend? All right. Gotta do some speed searching. The wives are gonna start texting. Doc and the Medics. This was just Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, the Norman
Yeah,
Greenbaum.
and it was a remake, but it came out and they had a pretty decent hit with it. Plus, it's in a picture sleeve. I'm getting that for $2. Paul Young, Corey Hart, the Pasadenas.
All right, we're starting to wind things down here. There's some cool Latin jazz playing. Sounds like Astrid Gilberto in the background. Sonny's still helping us out. Good times.
So Panorama. Bobby Darin, Splish.
Splish Splash?
Yeah, I was
Oh.
thinking of that.
It's great.
So there was something about when we were kids just looking through records
Yes.
for hours and hours. This is like, it brings me back to that. It's like
It's hunting for that gem.
Except I had to go a little smaller because my backpack won't hold full LP.
Yes.
So I got my niche going. In a way, it is a compact disc. Billy Preston, nothing from nothing. That's a good one. Oogie, oogie, oogie. God, we haven't been shushed once in here. This guy, he gets it. Passion. That's interesting.
Who is it, Bob?
The Crescent Street Stompers on Aquarius. I'm kidding. It's just
Sounds interesting.
it sounds interesting as hell. All the radio stations have a C on their call letter.
Mhm.
So you know how we had CKLW?
Yes.
There's a station here. It's French. CKVL.
Ah.
850. So just the hype sticker on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's okay, I'm halfway through 12 pounds.
No.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Bonne journée. On va passer cette semaine.
Okay. Don't get me wrong, Pretenders. Nat King Cole.
The wall.
The Wall.
Bob, am I upside down? Yeah.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I mean, even if you were, I could flip it.
Dad.
Oh, bad. Michael Jackson, Bob.
Well, what? These are the $5 ones.
Yeah. But I will do something for you.
Okay. Echo in the Rainbows.
What about Echo and the Bunnymen?
Yeah, I would buy that. That's a
Yeah.
hard one to find.
J'achète des vinyles de rock.
Okay.
Pas de CD.
What the hell is this?
What is that, Bob?
Sort of erotic. I don't know
Wow.
who it is, and they obviously didn't make it because I've never heard of them. Q is the name of the band, or the guy.
CD Mélomane.
Ron Johnson.
Sur la rue Saint-Jean.
Oh, it's going to be like Lou Rawls or something.
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna pass on Johnny
Okay.
Cash. I can get Johnny at home.
Cash. C'est bon.
I got it. That's sort of wild. I don't. Why do I feel? Oh, they're French. Okay. Edwin Starr in a picture sleeve.
Le Rhythmix.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna pass on them. I'm not.
Yeah. I would agree.
Edwin.
Bird.
No. Ain't no stopping us now. Edwin Starr. I think that's a.
Ooh.
Yeah. Put it in there. Oh boy. Good thing Rockmine got a credit card.
Live Club Live.
Got it. Common.
Mama Cass.
Steve Miller.
Mama
Live.
Cat.
April Wine, a great Canadian
Oh,
band.
I remember
April
them.
Wine. I like to rock. No.
Yeah.
They stole the whole riff. People are going back.
All right, at this point, Sonny sort of knows what we like and what we're looking for. So we're digging into the box of R&B, and he launches into some story about, well, there's some French singer that he liked or didn't like, blah, blah, blah. But it was sort of funny. We were laughing, although I don't really know if I caught the whole gist of it. But it was progressing real nicely, and we were having a blast. And like I said, bringing it into a landing, expecting a text from the wives at any point, because we're getting close to our meeting time. But what a cool old shop. And Sonny had explained that all these posters were from a friend of his that he had collected over his lifetime. And they were all pretty much originals, and they were an eclectic mix of just about everything from the 70s on upward. So this wasn't really, modern stuff. This was from someone's personal collection. And I was loving it,
Became a big hit. Got 1 million of them. It's the same location? Yeah. You did good because now this street is getting very popular. Yes and no?
St. John Street has always been very buy from home.
Yeah.
So we lose half of people going out.
Yeah. It's a shame because
Duran.
I got it. It's a shame because I enjoy the action.
The fabulous.
Grace.
Not great.
I can only take her for small doses.
Giorgio.
I think Grace is famous for being famous. Alright, Kevin. Bringing it in for a landing. Buddha Records. The Edwin Hawkins Singers. Lay down.
Jackie to the Wrigley.
Who is it?
No.
Throw it in there. I'll take a chance. Throw it in there. It sounds like
Yeah.
if it could be reggae. If it's reggae, it's worth it. Because reggae is hard to get.
Exactly. Half a box.
Oh yeah. Do you really? I don't want to get. Don't get me started.
But the problem is reggae stuff are used all the time, mostly all the time. So the box of 45, they are used.
Oh, they're very beat up.
No, but
The condition is so soft.
exactly.
Yeah.
I would say not very good. Less.
I picked up a reggae LP for 99 cents and it sold on Discogs for $1,500. But mine was a little beat up. I would take $500 easily.
Guns N' Roses,
Yeah, throw them in there.
Shocking Blue, Bats and Yes. Kennedy.
Sonny explained that he had been on St. John Street for 30 years. He never closed, same location. So this wasn't some vinyl pop-up that we were in. It's a guy that was committed to selling vinyl. He told us about back in the day he was part of the Montreal Underground. He had hair down to the middle of his back. So this guy's the real deal, and his shop is too.
I mean, that's sort of an obscure label. Joe Perry. I'm going to pick it up. I don't even know who it is.
And now it came down to the time where you add up all the records. And my big question is, how much is this all going to cost me? I felt we built up a lot of goodwill with Sonny. I felt we were making a decent buy, but it all really boils down to how much of a break he's going to give me on this volume buy. And as he's going through these one by one, I'm thinking $5, $5, $5, $5, $5. And I'm sometimes a little cheap when it comes to buying records. But I got to get used to spending $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, even $100 on a record instead of just digging stuff out of the bargain bin. So let's see what Sonny can come up with. I'm liking what I'm hearing so far, and I think we're going to be okay.
So I did the job.
I don't want those two.
Let's say 200.
That sounds like a fair price.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Kevin's mostly a still shot guy, but he was catching the vibe with these little vinyl clips as we were finishing up, and a lot of color, a lot of macro, and that's pretty much what I really like about Kev's stuff, is he zooms in and gets the stuff that normally people would just walk by, and he finds the macro, or the micro, if you will, fascinating. So he was really good at setting the scene, and he was really good at catching the stuff that is just on the walls and in the corners and all the nooks and crannies that are signs of a cool old record store that's been there for 30 years. So it was really great to have my creative buddy with me to catch all this vibrance and color and just give it a little texture in the place, on the way in, on the way out, and throughout the trip. And I really appreciate Kev helping me out with this episode. And it was a hell of a lot of fun. I hope we can work together in the future and maybe do
You got the
an
German
interview or
stuff,
something.
you know what I mean? Yeah, Kev, these were very popular back then. The little
Right,
flip
right.
boxes, and you know that one's even got a lock and key on it. You know, like someone's gonna steal your records.
Right.
You know. Yeah, look at that one, Kev.
Yeah.
That's a little.
I had a.
Yeah. So like the hippies or more underground?
No, underground.
Yeah.
Very underground.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's. I'm glad to see vinyl's making a comeback.
Oh, it's,
Nobody wants to.
it's strange because it's in North America, vinyl has gone away a little bit. You lost that a little bit because when you see the same,
Yeah, you got this.
girl like that, it's terrible.
She should be very famous.
She's sing. She arrived with 2 scotch, her dog, with a musician,
No, that's a great story,
and Brazil music.
I love Brazil jazz.
Hey, this is Detroit Bob. I'm back from Quebec, and guess what? I was able to get all those records in my trusty backpack, and I love it because 45s are really the first compact disc. So I get rid of my sweatshirt, and you see the first batch here tucked up front. A nice thick little pile will go through these. That was from the bookstore. Whoops, sorry about that. And the second batch. Boom. Sonny put them in 3 packets for me. And these things pack up pretty tight and they fit real nicely in a smaller backpack. So you really don't have to worry about breaking them in the airport. I've only had one time where they went through the scanner and they pulled them aside to look at them. But I got about, I would say 60 to 80 45s, one of my bigger buys. And I'm in Canada. Most of them were on that Canadian printing or that Canadian label. So I got some unique pressings. So we're going to go through all of them one by one. I'm going to break them down and we're going to have a gem of the week. So stay tuned. All right, the name of the show is Rockmine. So if you're enjoying this, click that little subscribe button on the lower right in red. It's an S with a little red box around it. Or it just might be a red S, but that gets you in for free and it doesn't cost you anything. So it's 100% without obligation. It just keeps you, quote unquote, in the loop, and it helps me get my show out there to more people. So I got this French bag. It's going to be bag number 1, and it's going to be the one from the bookstore. So if you remember, I went to a bookstore first, and then afterwards, we went to the record store. So it looks like we paid a total of probably around $37 Canadian. So I can live with that. Rule of thumb, if you're getting out for $3 a record, you're doing all right. Don't worry about haggling. Let's see what we got.
All right, let's go through these kind of quick. Here's the Maneater, recently featured in that Jennifer Lawrence comedy. Sparks Beat the Clock, new wave classic right there. Gotta have that. Terrence Trent D'Arby, Dance Little Sister Parts 1 and 2. Rick James on the classic Gordy label. You and I, Canadian pressing, so you gotta love that. RCA, the Tokens, it's the old RCA label with the dog on it. Picked it up? I don't know. We'll find out. It's a good... I don't know. Here's the Jet Airliner, Steve Miller. And then you get into these Arista labels, Jermaine Jackson. You got little Bryan Adams. You are in Canada, so you got to have that. I love this one. Bryan Adams, Lonely Nights, first song I ever heard, and I think his best. Goes back to the MSU days. Got to love it. Here's that Dylan, a Wigwam, and I forget what it was backed with, but I'll check it out. Canadian pressing, oddball pressing label here with the punch out, small spoke, large spoke, bimbo on a French label. I have no idea. Madness, One Step Beyond. Kevin, I sang that one for you, so you got to love that. And here's that Al Green on High, the epitome of Memphis soul, and some weird pile label. I'll check it out. I'll do the value on all these. Who knows? We'll add them all up, and I'll see what I did. So I think I spent about 37 Canadian. Next lot coming up. All right, now we're getting into the stuff from Chez Sony, and he had it all packaged up real nice, so we'll go through these pretty quick again. Some obscure label stuff I just pick up just because of the look of it, and that was one here. I don't know what it is. Earth, Wind, and Fire, definitely recollecting those. Billy Preston, Nothing from Nothing, you got to have that. Here's that weird label with the hype sticker. Psychedelic, always good. Another Nothing from Nothing by Billy Preston. And there's the Doc and the Medics cover of Spirit in the Sky. Cool picture sleeve, got to have it. And here's that twofer from Frampton that we showed you in the shop, so pick that up. More Earth and Wind and Fire. I think they're going to get big. I just sold one the other day, so I'm picking them up for $2 or $3 whenever I see them. Here's that ugly Tamla Motown, but a Canadian pressing. You got to have R&B in your collection, and it all starts with Motown. Earth, Wind, and Fire picked up a lot of these, and they're all in really good near-mid shape. You got to get the Motown temps, get ready, a remake with a rap, Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I'm definitely digging in and building up my R&B collection, and that's the way to do it. Here's that old label, James Brown, right? So I got to see that. Look at that sleeve. I don't think it's a matching sleeve. It's sort of cool, too. Tamla Motown. There you go. And Wilson Pickett, Mustang Sally on an old Atlantic record or label, and filling it out with Earth, Wind, and Fire. So a nice little stash of about 20, 25 records in that first packet, all packed, ready to go. All right, let's see what we got in packet number 3 from Chez Sony. So I was on a roll, and I was getting old label stuff. I even got some stuff that I wasn't even sure. Earth, Wind, and Fire, I was picking it up as it came along. Here's that Rolling Stones on London Records, Dandelion, Scratch to Hell. Boogie Down with her. You got to love these guys. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Kevin Lisa are going to see him, so I had to pick that up. And this McCartney one coming up is really, really cool. I love the photography on it. It's definitely in the running. It's got a great look. It's on Apple. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's a French picture sleeve. Here's the ugly Tamla Motown. I'm picking up Stevie. I'm picking up Supremes. I'm rounding out even some Europe or British small hole stuff for my R&B. James Brown, get up. You got to love it. Here's old school, old label stuff. He talked me into that. I got it. Michael Jackson on Epic and Prince Kiss. You can have millions of these in your collection and not go wrong. So look at this. Good stash, good stuff all the way around. You got some Queen and rounding it out with some oddball stuff. The Wall. Pick it up. Pink Floyd. Here's Michael Jackson, Dirty Diana. Steve Stevens on the back there. Now that's some big 80s hair going on there. So another good stash. Stash number 2. Rockmine is the name of the show. Make sure you subscribe. And actually, this is packet number 3. Here's that Joe Perry. It sounded old, and it looked old, and it sounded like R&B. Here's that Equators. It looks like reggae ska out of Britain. The Small Hole. I'll check this out. It might be rare. I'm not sure on it, though. Canned Heat, I pick them up every time I see them. But I like about this one is the Canadian pressing. Here we go. Guns N' Roses. A later issue at 92, 93 from the Spaghetti Incident album, I believe. It could be worth something. These guys really, really have a collector value. And as you remember, they were a great band. Could have been better. Here you go. Some older label stuff that I was just rounding out my collection with. Some Capitol Records. Here's the traditional Tamla Motown, but still a Canadian pressing. And here you go also with the A&M. Billy Preston was rocking the house, so I picked up some of his stuff. Here you go, the RCA Victor, odd, obscure pressing, label, and picture sleeve match. So you got to pick this stuff up. Jackson's picture sleeve. These are into the $2 pile now. But I got to round out my Michael Jackson collection. Sting on yellow vinyl. And I love this album. My favorite solo album by Sting, his first one. These are homemade folk art type sleeves that Sonny has a friend that has made 200 of them. So he takes old scratched Beatles records and he gives them a little sticker and a sleeve, and it's sort of cool. It's like folk art. So I picked it up for $5. Gene Vincent beat the hell, but if you know him, he was a rockabilly pioneer, bebop, a loobop. I'll take it. I'll price it. It could be something rare. Johnny Ray, Crying, Cry, or what was the big one? Cry. This guy was tragic. He was probably could have been huge, but check him out. He's a really, really good artist. And then you got to get the Doors, right? The old Caterpillar, Elektra label, Change Link backed with, I forget. But here's an old classic Atlanta label, R&B, and Michael Jackson Bad. So this is the secret stash stuff that you find when you talk to the owner and he points you in the right direction. I was digging in the $5 bin, but we got some good stuff out of the $2 bin. And I think he cut me a deal for $200 for about $250. All in all, I'm happy with my stash and back home safe and sound.
Hey, it's Detroit Bob. I'm finally getting over my jet lag. Back from Quebec, Canada. And here it is, the gem of the week, Paul McCartney. Another day. What a great pickup. Back to Oh Woman, Oh Why. And you know, I think I really like this. This is a French release. It came out in 1971. What I love about Quebec, you go there, you get Canadian, you get France, you get some Great Britain stuff. I love the photography on this. I've never seen this picture sleeve. That's Paul and Linda McCartney. In 1971, this came out. She was a photographer. I don't know if this was one of hers, but I just love the look of this little picture sleeve. And you know, the US, they didn't do this. I have the US version of this, but look at that. It's on the Apple label. So you get the cool, the Beatles were one of the first ones to create their own little label, or their own record company, I should say. So there it is with the green apple on the one side, and then on the B side, you get the white apple cut in half. What a great pickup it is. It's in great shape. I just listed it just to see what it would price out as, and the computer on Discogs says listed for $11.50. I think I averaged $2.60. So that's a pretty good pickup. Genre, they're calling it pop, rock, and then style, they're calling it pop ballad. So if you listen to the lyrics, it's a great song, and I know you know it. It just is Paul. Linda was getting up and going to work one day, and Paul was just watching her get ready, and it's just another day. You know, it was just him and his observations of his wife getting ready for work. And how many of us have lived through that? I know I have. So here it is, Paul McCartney, great. The picture sleeve just caught me. I love it. Gem of the week, and we'll see you next week. I've got a couple ideas. We'll get Michigan coming up, we'll get Florida coming up, and of course, we're always traveling all over the world for you. So we're getting the best, we're doing the best, and that's why you should subscribe by hitting that free subscribe button on the lower right. It doesn't cost you anything, and it keeps you on the top of the list for Detroit Bob and Rockmine. See you next week.